just going to give people a few seconds to come in and join us. If people can give us a shout in the chat and just let us know that you can hear us and that everything's okay and that you're there.
Hello, everyone. These voices.
Oh, good. Here we go. There's always a little delay. Hi, Anna, Richard, Lydia. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so welcome to today's talk. Get the look for less: how to elevate your IKEA kitchen. We are super happy to have Kath Dyer here with us today, from Plykea, who is going to be talking to us all about how we can elevate IKEA kitchens. And in the background, we've also got Anne, who's going to come on for the Q&A later. I just want to say, like, you know, every renovation I've done, I've used an IKEA kitchen, which I've loved because it's so brilliant. All the kind of the inserts and the cupboards, and you can really kind of get involved in building, all the different parts you want. But this is going to be such an interesting talk because, sometimes you just want a little bit extra to kind of make it look a little bit more special. And it's such an amazing company, Plykea, to just elevate and make an IKEA that much more special. So I'm interested to see what you're going to tell us today. Do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Plykea and what you do?
Yeah. Hi, thanks for the intro, Jane. And I think, just going back to what you said, I doubt there's a house in England that hasn't got one bit of IKEA in it. Yeah. Even if it's small.
Absolutely.
So we're all familiar. We're all familiar. So yes, I'm here. Welcome. We're proud sponsors of the Stories from Site podcast that Jane and Amy host as via We Are Home Notes. And so it's really great to be part of this Talking Technical series too. She mentioned I'm Kath Dyer, Managing Director of Plykea. And I hope you find this webinar informative, but also inspiring, because I still find the designs that come out of our workshop, and we're on over 8,000 orders now. I still find them inspiring. So it just shows you how endless the possibilities are. I'm going to give you a bit of the origin story of Plykea, how we've grown, and then we're going to delve into the fun bit, the really brilliant ways that you can use the foundation of an IKEA kitchen to create something that looks truly bespoke. So,
just before we kick off, people put your questions in the chat. I'm going to be fielding the chat as we go through, and as normal, we'll Kath and Anna are going to be answering those at the end. So ask away.
Yeah. So this slide here, this shows how we started, but it's actually a little bit ahead of where we actually started. So launched in 2016. It was two friends from uni who began the idea. One wanted to enhance their IKEA kitchen, so asked the other one to produce the birch fronts using a CNC machine that they had access to. And that was where the idea was born, and realizing that lots of other people might be interested. It's grown from two people discussing a business idea over a burger in a bar in Walthamstow to an international company that has around 20 employees. But Plykea is essentially you or me or you, Jane. It's someone wanting to achieve a bespoke aesthetic on a budget. And from the initial seed of an idea, that mission was set and the business evolved to create other ideas around creating beautiful, long-lasting kitchens without breaking the bank, which is what we're all about. Originally, we took up residence here. This was our first workshop. We had one of those units there. We knocked through and we grew a little bit. We put in skylights, we cleaned and cleaned. It was absolutely filthy, but it was freezing in winter, really, really boiling in summer. And we decided that we had outgrown that space. So we moved into our new home, which is here. And this is somewhere that we are very pleased to call home. We moved in 2021 to Here East, which is a campus in East London, and it's part of the Olympic legacy, which was really there to create a creative tech quarter. It's on the site of the old Olympics. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but it's where the old Broadcast and Media Centre was. So this big space here was just a big black empty warehouse filled with the electric scooters that all the media people would razz around on the site, on the Olympic site, to get around. So there was nothing in there. And we are incredibly proud to be able to have maintained our in-house production and stay in London. So when you do come to the showroom, if you can make it down, not only do you get to see and have the experience of what we sell, but you also get to see where we make it and how we make it and meet the nice team that are behind it. So the space was designed with one of the founders in collaboration with Eva Max Architects, and it took around 7 to 8 months to fit out. It's been designed to ensure production flow is really good. We're not double handling things. We've got new equipment in there, lots of lovely storage space, lots of natural light as well. And overall, it's just a really lovely space to work. You can see here, sorry, it keeps double clicking. There we go, we've got some nice images there just of the space, the staff canteen. And then we've got the workshop in action. You can see some of the team there working on some of the fronts.
Amazing, I love it.
Yeah. Right, so we'll move on. Examples of what you might look at in the showroom. Close-up details of things. So when you do come to the showroom, it's a nice space for you to just come and have a look, feel the handle types, look at the detail of things, look at all the colour swatches we've got. Not everyone can make it down to the showroom though, we know that. Like I said, we're on our 8,000th order and we've definitely not met 8,000 customers. So a lot just do come down the route that we started off at, which was all remote access via phone calls, email messages, ordering sample packs through our website. And I'll talk you through that process as we go. So how do we know the value of a kitchen, and there are lots of different Google searches that you come up with, but on average it's between 5 to 10% value of your house. But we know that a kitchen is far more than just financial added value, and it is the heart of the home. This is Munchamp Road, which is one of our recent projects, filled with space. It's always the place, isn't it? The kitchen is always the home where always the space in the home where people tend to congregate. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. It's where you're having a party, everyone stands. If you've just got a few people around, that's always where they'll go. So I thought that we would go through what perhaps you might have, or other people might have misconceptions about IKEA, things we've learned to understand about them as a business to ensure that what we sell stands the test of time. So people sometimes think that IKEA carcasses might be lacking in quality. They're not. They're made in the same way that many other high street brands probably are. They also offer a 25-year warranty. So you really are secure in the safe that if something did go wrong, you've got the backup of that warranty to know you can get it replaced. And they do have such budget-friendly prices that it makes it a really attractive option. The flat pack actually helps with delivery, transportation, but it also helps with customization, where we come in. The hinges are really excellent quality Blum hinges and drawer runners. You've got the option to adjust those and tweak the position of the drawer or drawer front left and right, and that ensures you're constantly in control once you've had your installation completed of just retweaking all those things to keep everything looking tip top. One other benefit as well of the IKEA carcasses is that because they don't have the inbuilt service ducting behind, you actually get a much bigger cupboard space, and so for you as a customer, you're actually getting a much better option there. So how do we price? How we price is based on a combination of the material usage, how many sheets your order might require. We don't hold stock of material, we order it all in related to each order's requirements. So it's a combination of material usage, the handle style, which material you choose, how many edges the team have to finish, how many handles they have to fit. And I think what the next few slides are going to go through is examples of original IKEA plan and then the costs of just the unit, so you can get an idea of that, combined with the cost of our front. So you're getting a realistic approximation, it's fairly accurate at this time of recording, example of what the cost would be for the IKEA bits and the Plykea bits, because that's often something that we'll get asked about. Yeah, and then also, I guess one of your previous guests, Jane, was topology, and it was just about, if you're looking at what your cost should be, they recommend around a 15% contingency budget, just in case things go wrong across, your whole renovation. So here we have a small kitchen. This shows the front, but that's just for illustrative purposes only. The cost there that you can see is merely showing you the cost of what the IKEA carcasses would be, including the hinges and the drawer runners. So essentially what you would need if you were getting that design and using our fronts. Here you can see what we've got, an example of what you will get from us. So our quotes are split into two views, so to speak. One will have the quotation with the itemized list and the price. And then the second one, which you can see just on the right, is the visual tab, which matches that IKEA elevation. And that is something that we'll talk about in a bit, about the process and engaging your fitter in how we work and what the quote looks like. So you can see here that the total cost of the IKEA, our elements, the Plykea elements, is around about 3,300. So the total cost of that small kitchen there is 4,043 at the time of recording. So I don't know, I think that's something to just maybe ask about in the Q&A if you've got any questions. This is another example, medium kitchen. Now, just to highlight here, you've got another tall stack of units. You've also got an island. So bearing in mind how we price includes the amount of material used. Those tall units, they add quite a considerable material quantity because you've got to cover the back, the back of the island, the side of those tall units. So that's something to look at when we look at the next slide, which you can see here, the cost from us increased to around about 5,750. Here we're using 4 micron as an example, but we do offer other laminates and various different veneers if you want the real wood effect. It's not an effect, it is real wood. So the total combined cost there of that example layout is around about 6,800. So it's not breaking the bank, and for something that can look truly bespoke, it's a really sort of nifty products that we've got, which you can utilize and customize, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So the design considerations. So where do you start? Often we get people not sure how or where to even look and start with how to lay out their kitchen. I'm sure you've spoken to lots of people and offer lots of advice on that, Jane, as part of all of your different courses that you offer. So there are things like topology and My Bespoke Room, interior designers, but we do really recommend the IKEA planners. They do go through extensive training. They really do know their stuff. You get to book a 2-hour slot with them, either in person or online, if you can't really face going in to one of the IKEA stores. We know they're a bit busy. And they don't work on commission, which I think sometimes some people might think. So, they're there and they are experts in offering layouts as well as all the little brilliant bits that they feature as part of their components for the internal bits of your kitchen. And that's part of one of the benefits of IKEA, is all the very affordable but ways to customize the internal bits that make them work really hard for not a lot of money. They also have a very quick lead time. Traditionally, they've got around a 5-day lead time in terms of ordering your carcasses. Yeah. So the process, how do we work? So often people will not really know where to start. So I'm just going to talk through very briefly around a checklist that we offer, which talks you through, it's a step-by-step process, what to get where. I'm going to discuss how to engage your fitter in the process. Essentially, your fitter is key in terms of getting that. And it's like with all projects, the more you engage the contractors on site and all your suppliers, the more you're going to get what you want at the end, your end vision. So where you've got any custom bits that you might want to just install, it's really important that you engage the fitter in the process and what they are, so that when they get all these bits delivered to them, it's not going to be completely, a myriad of just lots of squares of either plywood or IKEA things that they don't know. We've also got, we don't offer a fitting service, but we do work close with lots of different fitters who have come recommended via our customers, and our homes matter. They're really good, based in and around London, but they do travel further, and they are actually part of the internal in-store fit-out team in IKEA. So they build their showrooms for them, so they really do know all the IKEA ins and outs, and they've got lots of handy tips as well. So they're really keen. They love what we do. They love the quality of our product. So they're a good one to recommend. Right. So as I mentioned, there's the Plykea order checklist. Quick screen grab. It's based in our help centre, which is on our website, so you can access that easily anytime. It's broken down into a handy guide, like I said, what to order where. We recommend ordering the IKEA carcasses, and if you can, store them in advance on site. That's really useful, because then you know you're not going to fall foul of anything going out of stock. And then what we recommend is that you label the boxes from the IKEA elements with the unit numbers that they're meant to be. So you can see here, I've circled rather bigly, largely rather, the number 5. So that's unit 5 in an IKEA plan that we've got sent. What we do is we will engrave that unit number on the inside face of all of the fronts as well. So again, for your fitter, that's like a key. It's like a big jigsaw for them to put together. But once they understand that, again, the importance of engaging your fitter in the process, they're going to be much happier on site. They're going to totally buy into the process and be really, really sort of, I guess, quick but efficient, rather than sat scratching their head wondering what's going on. So you can see there, unit 5 is a set of double drawers. I've just screenshot there what the elevation view looks like. That's taken from your IKEA plan when you get that built or designed by one of the planning team or yourself. And then just on the right hand side, that's our view. And you can see, I know it's quite small, but both of those units have number 5 on there. So we match that number to make it easy. Again, when you're talking to your fitter, if you're going to have shelves, if you want something extended, talk to them about how that will fix, and then you can talk to us about what their recommendations are for what they want to supply. If you've got any small funny gaps, think about where you might need filler pieces or what else you could put in there to utilise that space. That's what we're here for. We're here to build those extra bits to really elevate those designs. So now to the fun bit. This is the bit everyone really enjoys. And it's all the ways to elevate the IKEA carcass. So we'll go through islands, pantries, bespoke shelving options, bench seating, and also spacer panels. Right, here we go. So this is a rather dull, admittedly, screenshot of a back-to-back set of IKEA carcasses, because a lot of people don't understand that you can use the IKEA system to create an island. They think because it's not on offer as a product itself, you can't do it. But it's very easy. You can have a single run of units or back-to-back ones like this. So from something that looks quite banal, you can create something like this, which is an amazing plethora of colours there. They also, can you see they've added a central bookcase? It's on wheels as well, so they can move that around.
I love it. So nice.
This one, different tone, different vibe to it. They've got a concrete worktop there. And what they've done is have back-to-back carcasses, but in that central section, I don't know if you can see, just where the chairs are, they've actually used a shallower set of units. So they've created what is effectively a breakfast bar. They've still used storage space. They've not lost anything, but it's probably for those things that you don't have to access all the time. And then they've allowed the chairs, enough room for the chairs to sit. So they've got a breakfast bar as well as an island without necessarily creating it, making it bigger than it needs to be. We've got a sneak peek of a before photo there of what that kitchen looks like before it was renovated. I thought I'd give you a sneak peek of what's coming up later, because we know we all love the before and after. So that's the after, and that's the before. Oh, wow. So it does show you the scope of what's possible and how you can really transform your space. This is another example of an island. Here they've got wooden battens on the back. They're supplied by naturewall.com, I believe. And it's just another way of bringing in a design feature that can really elevate what is essentially an IKEA carcass sat behind there. We've got our units in the back and the front, in the back. We've got on the bottom a Formica colour, and then on the top we've got our oak veneer wall units. The next slide, we've got a couple of shots of, one of them is like a single run peninsula, so running your worktop along and round to create a seating space. That's quite a popular option. And then that last image there on the right, that's just demonstrating a single run of units. So they're not back to back, just the carcasses. We've wrapped it around with our end panels and a back panel. And then they've just extended that worktop ever so slightly, again, to create what is a nice extra bit of seating for whoever's around. So we're going to look at the pantry next. So we're always about innovative ways of how we can create products that still utilise the core of what we do, which is elevating IKEA products. So we looked at how we can do this, and we decided that we would stick to having the IKEA carcass on the bottom. So I don't know if you can see just underneath, you've got two white carcasses. So this is an option using two 600 wide carcasses. They're put together, and then we make the whole top bit. So that whole top bit is custom built by us. We've got different options, different configurations, so it doesn't have to be that wide. That is admittedly quite a big unit. You could have just one, and a lot of people choose to do that. It's got internal shelves. You can add in lighting as well. All of those things we can discuss during the design process that we can talk you through. Some more examples here. That's two drawers on the bottom, and this example here, we've got two pantries back to back there, actually. Sorry, not back to back, side by side. And what that shows is the different ways. On the one on the left, you can see just a glimpse, two doors, and what we've got there, you can open the doors, and inside we've got the IKEA drawers, but with our Plykea fronts. So again, just bringing in all those lovely plywood elements. Right, so the bespoke shelving, how do you utilise the space you've got in your kitchen? And what we wanted to do, the point of the ESA was to sort of create a cost-effective product that fits with the IKEA skeleton and transforms an area, if that makes sense. So you've got your IKEA limitations in terms of the sizes, but you might have a space left over that doesn't fit any of those sizes. You've got small area to the left of a boiler cupboard, or an odd little corner that you want to make use of. This is where the Ertl comes in, and it's essentially a custom built plywood box, to oversimplify things, that you can have at almost any size within the sheet limitations. It can be customized with internal shelves. It can have a lighting system on the underside as well. So lots of ways of using the Ertl, which is one of our products. We'll look at some open shelves, we'll look at some bookcases, and then we'll also look at some awkward corners. So this is the Ertl. This is the product itself. You can see there it's a rectangle of plywood. We make the whole thing, like I said. This one here has got a single door. You can see that it's a contrasting material to the carcass. So again, you can play around with colours. The materials here, it can be made out of the veneer options that we've got, or the laminates. And we also got the option of one or two sliding doors, so they meet in the middle. You can have no doors, and we've also got reeded glass, which is a lovely, one of our most recent additions to this range. So you can see here we've got some stacked on the wall with books in between. That's quite a nice design feature. On the right hand side, you've got examples of underside panels extending on either side of units, and that's just, again, utilising what would otherwise be dead space. And then on that example, you can see they've run the shelving also along the back wall and used some wall-mounted shelf brackets. So again, those things, you say you want them, what does your fitter fix them to the wall with on site? So part of that process of really engaging your fitter in what you want, so they can help you get what you want. Some close-up details there of some Ertl spaces, just utilising space again, all important. This is quite a good example. This is, a lot of people have American style fridges. They're really popular. They are often a lot wider than the IKEA carcasses are, even when you're combining two together maybe. So this is a really nice, smart option to utilise that space above. And I don't know if you can see, if you just zoom in a little bit with your movie eyes, there's metal shelf pins there. So that this is one of the options. You can have a series of holes added to the inside of the Ertl. So you can move that shelf up and down depending on what you want to fit in there. But we also can make them fixed as well. And then this is, they're pretty classic actually. They're our birch, that's birch face ply, 2 hurtles either side of the extractor. They've both got sliding doors, and it's just a really nice tie-in with the handle detail. So we can match an hurtle to the handle material that you've got if you want to have a contrast. And then we've got some examples of just the one on the left, just a really light shelf using very thin wall brackets. And then the one on the right is an hurtle that's been turned into a bookcase on the back of a peninsula. So again, another nice way of bringing that customized look, bespoke look, to what is essentially the rest of an IKEA skeleton. So this is a clever, again, a clever extension of an underside panel to create an open storage unit, but it's tying in, they've brought the oak there, which ties in with the small handle insert that you can see, and it's created a shelving unit. And then on the left-hand side, just further on, you've got some bookshelves. All of those things will have been joined on site by the fitter. So again, just hammering home that if you chat to your fitter and make sure they've bought into the process, you'll really help yourself get that vision that you've got in your head. So the next kind of IKEA hack that we are proud, it's not, I don't know whether it was necessarily our idea. Lots of people come to us with all of these new ideas and we just facilitate them. So one that is quite popular is having great examples of bench seating. So you use a wall unit and then they can be modified with either door or drawer runners. And then you can add a top either from us, or you could get something upholstered. What we recommend is they do sit on shelves and then, they do sit on the feet, and then you cover those feet either with a plinth, or you can buy feet from somewhere else if you want to have them exposed, like hairpin leg style ones. So we've got some nice examples here. Lovely shot there of just some kids enjoying the space, being able to sit down in the kitchen. Bit more of a design feel here. Nice blue floor contrasting with the yellow worktop. That's created a table using some trestle legs, and then just in the background, making use of what would otherwise just be seats, but it's storage space as well. And then this is just a wide angle shot with the seating on the right-hand side. So they've created a U-shaped kitchen, and instead of having a seat in that corner, they've just used the drawers to create a small bench area. Right, so the next sort of design feature that we like to include, and is one that really does bring about that bespoke, custom built look, are what we call spacer panels. So as you can see, they're essentially battens of wood and they fit between the 2 carcasses. You don't pay for all of that material that you can see there that's not needed. They're not there to form any part of the construction. They're simply there as a design aesthetic. And the next few slides will show you what they look like installed. So it's from something simple, you can really elevate your look to create something like this, referencing that project again there. They've got phoenix fronts on the doors, but then they've accented it with oak, I guess to tie in with the floor and their handle inserts. We've got a couple more examples there between units with different handle styles. And actually the one on the right just shows us an example of that reeded glass door front that I mentioned as part of the Ertl range. So if you are going for this feature, because they fit between the carcasses, like I showed you at the beginning, what's really important is to just allow for that extra material in your overall width. The material itself is around about 19.4 to 19.7 millimeters. So if you allow 2 centimeters, 20 mil, just makes your life easier when you're adding all those dimensions. So say you come to us and you get a quote and you're just a little bit down at heart because it's still too expensive. We have also lots of cost saving ideas, and we're going to talk about those now. It can be mix and matching the IKEA and Plykea fronts. It's about reducing those cover panels, like I mentioned earlier, they're big bits of material. And then also handles that can hide bits of your IKEA carcass. So here we go. This is some examples of IKEA mixed with Plykea fronts. We've got the green IKEA carcass fronts there, and then mixed with an island in our fronts, and then the wall units as well, veneered. We've got other examples as well where they've used a laminate front or a coloured front from IKEA combined with an accent from us. So still getting that look, but for a fraction of the cost. I mentioned earlier about the tall end cover panels and lots of material. So there's ways that you can mix and match it. We can split them so they're not paying for a whole bit of material you can't see at the bottom. You can also use IKEA end cover panels, which are demonstrated here. So these are just the white end panels. I think they do other options, a green and a grey. So colours that quite lend themselves to blending in with nearly all of the materials that we offer. These are some examples of wall cabinets. So you can see there in that first image, you can see the underside panel of the IKEA carcass. Depending on how high you fit those, it's not necessarily something you're going to see, but perhaps if you've got a dining table further back in the space and you sat down, that might be something that irritates you. So we do have, that middle slide shows a invisible handle, which extends around about 3 centimetres below the IKEA carcass. That just allows you to open the door from the bottom, slab aesthetic, so it's nice and symmetrical, but just knocks off that edge of that IKEA underside that you just might not want to see all the time. And then the bottom image just shows how we've tied in further the design trick of using the spaces. So you've got a full depth underside panel there because you obviously need to hide the entirety of the underside of the carcass. You've got your spaces in between, which as we know are just shallow battens. And then on the top, we've got a similar batten, but it's turned on its side like that. So it's really emulating as if you've got a fully bespoke plywood carcass, but definitely at a fraction of the price. So we've got some small spaces tips. I think, you know, I spoke to the team, I've asked a lot of the installers, we speak to interior designers and architects all the time. I don't know if you've got any to add to this, Jane, but generally decluttering a small space will help it feel bigger. You can, if you can afford them, you know, get rid of cluttered worktop appliances, such as you get a boiling water tap, we supply cooker, you could get a downward extraction hob, which negates the need for a extractor hood on the wall unit. So again, some way of making more of that wall space that you've got. Use tall cabinets to pull out larger pantry spaces to make further use. I think light colours, and I've got some before and afters which show the effects of like removing units from the wall if you can, which show some good, like it's a good example of a before and after. And then, yeah, the last point, sort of consider replacing wall units if you do feel like the space is quite heavy and cluttered. But you do have to balance that out with meeting your storage needs. And as we know, storage is always a great thing. We love it. Actually, one of the tips from one of the fit out builders from Our Home Matters was, in tall units, what they'll often offer their customers as a, I don't know, cheeky bonus, is they will fix one of the shelves in the carcass and then they'll add a faux back panel that's pulled slightly forward. It's on magnetic catches. And that way you can pull that off to create a little, I guess, semi-safe to store your valuables or your jewellery while you're going away.
Like that. Top tip.
Yeah. Top tip. And then finally, I think what using our product allows is you to not waste any space. We'll see where people have extended the cover panels, like we've already seen in some of the photos, but I've got a space where, I don't know, it's about 15 centimetres wide. You wouldn't think you could do anything with it, but I just extended the cover panel along so it hit the wall, and that's now a handy place to store the tea bags and the coffee and some nice cookbooks, rather than having to go into a cupboard and get them out, because we all know we need that cup of tea or coffee first thing in the morning. So these are the fun ones. These are the before and afters. So we briefly looked at this one before. So this is Montague Road, the before, and this is the after. I just thought it's nice for people who may be just about to embark on or who are midway through a renovation to just give you a bit of inspiration and hope as to what you can achieve. They've got a double height pantry there. They've got a custom worktop, and then they've utilised the island units like we've discussed to create the breakfast bar area. This is a before image, which you might not think, you know, that might well be someone's cup of tea, more of the shaker style of kitchen. This is Brookfield Avenue. And what we can see here is looking on the way in. That first image was looking out. So they've got our ash fronts here, and they've complemented it with the pastel tones of the plaster on the walls, and then they've painted the RSJ. It's also in colour theme. And then this is the Guardian writer Mira Soda approached us, and we collaborated with her on a lovely little project. So this was her space here, and can you see that first image? It's got wall units, well, it's got units back on both sides. So it truly is the epitome of a galley kitchen. And then on the right hand side, you can see the freestanding washing machine. So if we click through to the next slide, that just shows the final space reimagined. And this is a small space, but they took the wall units off, and it's just made it feel so much lighter. They've integrated all the appliances. She's got one of her favourite Smeg ovens in there. And then she's extended that shelving system all around. So you can see she's really like helped utilise that wall space. Yeah. So I guess in summary, we've chatted about the history of Plykea and the mission that we sort of set about to do. We've talked about the process. We've looked at estimated costs and examples of how to elevate your kitchen. We'll soon get to the question and answer section, but I just wanted to give you a quick website tour so that if you do go off and want to look at where you might find us and how to get through to us, we've got how to get a quote. We've got a little Finbot there who can answer questions and lead you through a process. You can email hello@Plykea. You can, what else can you do? That's the main things. Go through the website or email us at hello@Plykea. We've got the gallery to give you inspiration if you just don't know where to start. So all of the jobs we've got listed in the words next to them, all the material used, all the handle styles, and any other design features we think you might be interested in. The samples page allows you to order a pack so that you can get your hands on the material and feel the quality of the finish. You can get a laminate, a veneer pack, or you can order both. And again, if you can make it down to the showroom, it's a great, great, great space. We're so proud of the fact that we get to show people around the workshop where everything's made, but it's also a chance for you to look at the product in person and see the detail of everything we make. And then finally, we've got a Q&A, FAQ, sorry, and a help centre. So the FAQs, things you might normally, like, you know, they are often frequently asked questions, as the name suggests. And then we've got the help centre there, articles in there about installation, best practice, after sale care, all of that is accessible at your fingertips. So enough of me waffling.
That's so amazing. I was literally like holding my breath with anticipation, like, what's next? What's next? My mind's like buzzing away with all the things that you can do.
Yeah.
I think it's such an amazing system that you've set up, and it is just so clearly useful, and especially in terms of that, like maximising every nook and cranny that you've got. We've got loads of questions, so
whiz through them. We'll whiz through them.
Let's jump straight in. So this question from Melissa: do we have to have the IKEA design 100% perfect before we reach out to Plykea to talk about what the design layout will need or cost?
No. I mean, it's great if it's nearly there, but again, we it's very rare we do one quote using one design and then that gets bought. There's normally lots of iterations, and it's a normal process, and we're all really experienced in helping guide you through that. So the bones of the design would be good, but it doesn't have to be pitch perfect, not at all.
Okay, I just forgot. Anne, should we bring Anne on?
Let's bring Anne on. So Anne's my colleague at Plykea. She's worked there longer than I have. So she really does know all her stuff.
Inviting you on stage, Anne. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Great. So now we've got the whole team. We can get through these. So yes. So Melissa's asking, how do orders to the US work?
Oh, good question.
Branched out there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're based. We've got setup out there. So we ship directly from our setup in America across all the mainland states. It's made in, yeah.
You're in luck, Melissa. That sounds excellent. Melissa's also asking, can replacement pieces be ordered if something is wrong with what we ordered?
Go on. I'll let you answer this one. But the answer is yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, I mean, if it's an issue from our side, which is rare, we'll do our best to fix it for you if that's what you're asking. But if it's, of course, if we need, there might be a delay if we need to get offcut, if we don't have an offcut, if we need to order material. So I would say it is important to try and get it right first time. But there is always an option to order replacement pieces if needed. Particularly when I say get it right first time, particularly if it's a wood veneer, it's more important because you really want the grain to match and it all be cut at the same time.
I guess there might be a situation where you might add something later on or do an extra bit that you kind of, a bit of shelving here or there that you decide to add later.
I mean, there's lots of processes that we've got set up and in place to really double down on the questions so that we're really making people really think about it, so there aren't any last minute additions. But we do understand either you just didn't realise, or it's an extra thing that you thought of late in the day, or something's gone wrong on site and you need to adjust your design. So we have processes in place that will allow you to make changes within a sort of agreed time frame. And outside of that, we're always here to help. We're real people and we understand how important projects are to people. So
I think I know the answer to this. Are you across the UK? I'm assuming yes.
Yeah.
You're worldwide.
And it's the furthest one we've shipped within the UK to the Outer Hebrides. It went on a boat, didn't it?
Yeah, we've had one of our kitchens. We had some great pictures of it on a little fisherman's boat going across the water. I think there might have even been a little dog on the boat. It's always really interesting when people take the time to send us those.
We love them. We love the before and after photos.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. Okay, so everybody was quite interested in, I wrote note, our home matters or our homes matter?
Our, O-U-R, homes matter.
Yeah, great, that's what I wrote. So that was correct, great. Relika's saying, how much weight could an IKEA carcass take if you use concrete or stone or marble? Do you need to kind of take that into account?
I wouldn't be able to answer that. I'm not entirely sure. Definitely direct that sort of question to the IKEA planners. But as you've seen in lots and lots of the photos, people have got all types of different worktop on their IKEA carcasses, ranging from concrete and marble to quartz.
I guess you might put extra feet in or something.
I don't know if anyone has ever needed to do that, Anne, do you?
Yeah.
No, I mean, in all the time, it's never come up as an issue. And as Kath says, people have used granite, concrete, quartz. It's never come up as an issue. But certainly, if there's any concerns, then direct that to your sort of IKEA kitchen planner.
If you're wanting to put an Arga on top of lots of units, I imagine that might have a little bit of
it might go through the floor as well.
Yeah.
Claire's got a nice follow-on question. Do you Plykea sell worktops too?
Yeah, we do. It's the plywood. It comes in 3 different thicknesses. Most people plump for the middle one, which is 24 mil, but we do a chunkier version, 36 mil, and they are laminated in all of the colour ranges that we offer. So from Formica, Arpa, and Phoenix.
Okay, great. I think we've got some material questions coming up, but we will just go through in order. With the pantries, can you make slide and hide doors?
Oh, Anne, how many times have we been asked this?
You're like,
every time
on the roadmap.
We ask the workshop and
So we have had a couple of customers do it themselves, haven't we? But it's not something we can make or facilitate adding in the sliding hinge mechanism. You need to create a pocket, which totally changes the design. And because it's quite a custom built bespoke thing, it's quite hard for us to manage that as a product. So we've decided to stick with just the open and closed traditional doors. But some customers have decided, and again, working really closely with the fitter, they've spoken to the fitter, they tell us what we could make for them, and then they manage the rest of it in situ on site.
Yeah, okay, that sounds great. Lauren's asking, how robust is the plywood from a warping staining perspective?
The veneer plywood is spray lacquered, isn't it? And we've got numerous coats, several coats of a lacquer that we've stress tested with water. So we sat water on it overnight. It's not created or penetrated or left any marks. So you would just, all of the fronts, even the laminated fronts, you just look after with a microfiber cloth and just wipe down. We've had turmeric on white worktops, and I think one of the new things that Kate, who's in our workshop, does is in the showroom is actually gets a bit of permanent marker on one of our sample pieces, and she uses a magic sponge, which are really effective on the laminate options, not the veneer, but really it just gets it all out. So in terms of staining, I wouldn't have any worries there. Plywood can be prone to warping, but we limit the sizes of our doors to really mitigate that. So nothing over 1.4 meters in the wood veneer will go out of the door. And if you do have a door taller than that, which obviously a lot of kitchens do, we offer a joined door option. So it's split in the middle to help reduce the risk of warping.
Excellent. Louise is asking, can you touch on pros of Formica versus ply, etc.?
So our material is all ply. And then we veneer or laminate on the front and inside face. So the Formica would go on top of the birch plywood. Formica is one of the coloured options that we offer, and it's we also do Arca and Phoenix. So they're great. They're really they're used in commercial areas as well as residential, so they're really robust. But if it was laminate versus the veneer, again, it's a real wooden product, so care is needed, like any bit of furniture in your house. But they are built to withstand. You know, they're in a space that's used and should be used frequently. And I've got a kitchen, Anne, you've got one. I used to think when I first started, actually, that Anne used to have a secret garage lockup because she used to sell so many kitchens. I used to think she was buying them for herself. How is she doing this? How is she doing this? So yeah, we've both got Plykea kitchens, and they're still going strong.
I really love the look of the that Phoenix kitchen that you had. It's like a really matte finish, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is there something special about Phoenix in terms of its wearability? It's kind of, I want to say like self-healing, but
Yeah.
I think that might be overstating the mark slightly.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of a nice product, isn't it, for wear and tear?
Yeah, I'd say it's really tactile, so it's very sort of soft and almost velvety to touch. But as you say, the flip side is that it's actually really durable. It's not a high pressure laminate in the same way that the Formica and the Arca is. I can't quite remember the science of it, but if you were to put it under a really good microscope, it's actually a textured surface. And that makes it anti-fingerprint. So if you're going for a dark color, it's a really good choice. And it also is self-healing for sort of micro scratches. So there's more detailed instructions on the Phoenix website as to how you actually do it. But you can apply heat to it to heal any micro scratches. And yeah, it's just a really, really tactile, really nice material.
Yeah.
It doesn't come in as many bright colours as the Formica, but the range is still really lovely, like quite muted, muted colours.
Yeah, earthy tones, and it's really popular with architects, isn't it?
We wrote a blog article on Phoenix once, and it's our top, along with one on extractor fans, they're our top 2 pages of our whole website.
I like that with the contrast.
Yeah, exactly. Phoenix or extract fans. Yeah, so either one. It seems to be a really popular material. Great. Let's have a look. We'll finish that one. Meredith is asking, can you give us a guide on lead times?
That's a great question. Yes, we're currently on a 4 to 6 week lead time. So from the point of ordering and after the quote checks have been done, the lead time.
So is it that the 2 processes come separately. The IKEA carcasses come straight from IKEA to you, and then your doors
Yes.
come separately. So in a way, somebody could be getting on and fitting the carcasses and then fit the doors afterwards. Is that how it would work?
Yep, you can do that. The only thing to bear in mind is if you're using that spacer panel feature,
Yeah.
you would need to have those as you're installing the carcasses, because they fit in between. But again, we can get those dispatched early, so you can crack on with installation should you have access to the IKEA carcasses before our fronts are ready.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
The other thing to note on lead time is that obviously we're coming up to Christmas and the UK and the holiday period in the US. So we do close for a little bit over Christmas. So if you're planning an installation early next year, then give yourself a little bit more time.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know that I was just talking to somebody the other day. Contractors often sometimes say, "Oh, we prefer like carcasses that are built." But I was just talking to somebody who was saying that everybody should in the future go to flat pack because it's so much more environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
If you think about transporting built carcasses all over the country, it's such a kind of waste because you can't put that many on a truck. So quite a lot of people are going to be shifting to kind of meet the kind of eco credentials. So I just thought that was an interesting side chat that I was having with someone the other day.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's logistically, I can't, like if you live in flats or in an area that's hard to get access to through doors or, apartments or whatever, having loads of assembled carcasses arriving would be a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think, just one last question. Amy's going to be like, wrap up. Do we buy the cabinets carcasses from you or direct from IKEA? That's a fairly fundamental one, isn't it?
Fairly fundamental. Go on, Anne.
Oh yes, direct from IKEA.
So you sort the order with them, you sanity check it all with you, then you place the order with them, then you place the order with you. So it's just like a two-phase thing, but you make sure
it is a two-phase thing. So as long as you just get your head around that, the benefits far outweigh the slight added extra admin of having to manage two suppliers. But again, we're here to help you through and guide you through and handhold all the entire way, and that includes post-sales aftercare.
And just make sure when you do buy the cabinets that you also get the hinges from IKEA. Sometimes when people take the doors off their IKEA plan, it automatically takes the hinges off. So you just need to double check that you've got those on your list.
The planners are really good at helping you do that. The IKEA planners, they know us. They often put people towards us, or we've actually got an ex-IKEA kitchen planner join the team, so they are well aware of us. It's not in any way that you need to be like shady about it. You can say, "Oh, I'm getting my fronts from IKEA, but so can you take off the fronts but leave the extra bits on?" And they'll do that for you.
Amazing. Okay, we're going to wrap up there because it's nearly everybody's lunchtime over. Lana, Melissa, if anyone has any more questions, just reach out to me or to Plykea directly, and we'd all be happy to field your answers or pass them on. And thank you so much for being with us today. I absolutely loved that talk, and my mind's buzzing now about going to IKEA and sorting out a bespoke kitchen. So thank you. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.